Hey folks, hope things are going well for you. It is a special weekend hobby nightmare because we've made some changes to the way that the channel is going to go moving forwards. On a Monday and Wednesday we will have normal hobby nightmares, that is hobby nightmares from the hobby and sticking to gaming and things like that. Whereas on a Friday we will have hobby talk, which is hobby nightmares but with a twist, with like other bits that are of off-topic things that we're going to be discussing on a Friday. So today I was just sitting around, it is grey, it is gloomy, and I opened up my emails just looking for something to lift the gloom, and I got sent a hobby nightmare that made me chuckle, to say the least, as I was making breakfast this morning. I showed it to my mother, who was just like, she's not really into 40k, but she just likes to read things every now and again, so I read it out for her, and she giggled at the end, so I thought, well, this is a good one. If somebody doesn't know the hobby giggles, this is a good one. So, this is a little taste of how hobby nightmares are going to go on a Monday and a Wednesday from now on, even though this is only one hobby nightmare, just to brighten up your day before you go out, or, get yourself some dinner or whatever. Have a little listen to this and see what you think. It made me chuckle, certainly. So, Where's Aldo says, and Where's Aldo is probably the best name I've read in a while on one of these things. He says, "Hey North, my name is actually Nigel." Just starting as we mean to go on. My name is actually Nigel. Yeah, I know, I get stick all the time. And I wanted to go over a tournament experience I had towards the end of 9th edition earlier on this year. Now, 9th edition was a bit of a rough time for competitive players, but not in the way you usually say, as you thought the rules were too dense. But no, we actually like it that way. There's more room for nuance and building something really powerful that way that your opponent doesn't see coming sometimes. Instead, what we didn't like about 9th edition was the constant slowing down of the game by the rules themselves rather than how we were implementing them. Vague rules that are pretty hand wavy by Games Workshop and all that do nothing to help the game going forwards. What it did to the tournament scene was create a lot of avenues for cheaters. Where there are grey areas in the rules, guys latch onto them like deformed lampreys. And 9th edition had a lot of crevices in the rules for these cretins to hide in. That's a really good way of putting cheating. That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, badly written rules, vague written rules, give cheaters a lot of wiggle room, a lot of grey area to operate in. Well, this tale comes from a tournament local to me for a grand prize of a guaranteed 10th edition starter box set when they were finally revealed/released later in the year. Awesome, right? The gaming group at the local store is brilliant. I love them to death. We go on trips to Warhammer World, we host D&D nights, where we are currently running around an imaginary form of Dark Age Europe, and in general, we help brothers when they are feeling the pinch. Emotionally, financially, or otherwise. For 9th edition, for instance, we chipped in and got our mate Alan, who had just lost his job, the new starter box set, as he loved Space Marines and Necrons. Just as a thank you for driving us to Warhammer World when we all went earlier in that year. It's an important group to me. It's a brotherhood. Which is why, when the more unsavoury aspect of the tournament scene showed up, I was less than pleased. Everyone at the club knows I go to tournaments. I'm considered the meta guy in the store, although I always tone it down for my armies, for my opponents, if it's a casual game, and I only play for blood on Fridays. Literally. I let people know that too. Also, I always want to be at the bottom of the priority list for new games on Fridays. At the end of the day, new people getting into the hobby are more important to me in that sense. I can live without a game once in a while, as long as new people are coming into the hobby. Dude, that's a brilliant attitude. That's a fantastic attitude, mate. If only more people in the tournament scene had that attitude of just like, I'm not important here. I'm already in this hobby space and I love it. Do I really need another practice game this week, or can I just chill out for once and let other people play? Let other people play games that aren't for blood. Dude, that's... Congratulations to you, mate. And congratulations to your group for having you in the group, because that's cool. That's some cool shit. So, the tournament comes around, in our local game store, and the lads are pumped. We have 32 people in town for a weekend of games at a hall booked out just for us. Epicness is going to ensue. We call the tournament the Welsh Brotherhood Open, and the doors are open for us to play games at 8 AM. Wow, that's an early start. Especially for the Welsh, shouldn't you be in a field somewhere doing things too? Never mind. Moving on. My first game was a hoot against Deathwatch, which I won quite handily, but his Deathwatch captain ended up mulching my Wraith Lord in close combat, which I found absolutely hilarious. My second opponent, though, let's call him Dennis, because he looks like that guy, Dennis Nedry, from Jurassic Park. Okay. We got dots in here! See? Nobody cares. That's my favourite line in a movie. Like, it's so funny. I don't know why it tickles me so much at the start of Jurassic Park. You know, he's like, can you not use my name? He's like, Dotson. We got dots in here! Like, no one cares. Like, see? Nobody cares. Anyway, moving on. He strolls in with a leather trench coat and a briefcase-looking army case. Pretty cool piece of kit. I go to shake his hand, and he waves me off. Odd. Oh, that's revolting. That's revolting. He just waves you off. No, I'm not shaking your hand. Jesus Christ. He opens his case up and turns it around to me like a mobster showing the buyer a load of illicit goods. Brilliant. I almost like this guy. He's so much of a neckbeard, he's become cool again. Like, he's leant so far into it, he's turning around and becoming cool again. Immaculately painted Leagues of Atan sit in the case. Some of the best looking models I've ever seen painted. Wow, okay. Wow, I say. They look really awesome. I try to sound enthused, but to be honest, I'm a bit on the back foot by his behaviour. He mumbles as he goes into his rulebook. We are playing this mission, he says. I'm a nice guy, so I'll let you set up first. My alarm bells are going off. Yeah, no shit. Dude, if somebody said that to me in a casual game, I'd be like, what? No, we're not just playing the mission you want, mate. We're gonna... Okay, moving on. I say, don't we roll off for the mission? Like, we roll to allocate it? No. In the tournament rules for this tournament, they are not there. So I suggest we do this one. It's really fun. Okay. I look at the selected mission. Now, I play a melee-heavy Eldar list, as this was a fun tournament and I wasn't playing for blood. Okay. And so I needed to get close to him with my Howling Banshees, Striking Scorpions, and Wraithguard to have a chance in hell of winning. The mission he'd selected was table lengthwise in deployment. We deploy on either end in a very narrow corridor. Wow. So you've got to run across this entire length of this table in a very narrow shooting corridor. I'm guessing with very few pieces of terrain or cover, right? Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, mate, I'm not playing that mission. I suggest we roll off fairly to select the mission, I said. He immediately calls over the tournament organizer and tells him I am being obstinate about mission selection. Dude, this guy's a fucking nightmare. I refute that and state clearly what the issue is. This guy wants to choose a mission that benefits only him. Essentially, he's cheating before the game's even started. Dennis goes red in the face. The tournament organizer tells us to sort it out after another 15 minutes of arguing. In the end, I'm kind of confident of beating this guy, so I say, look, let's just play the damn game and get on with it. You have your mission. Wow, okay. A long story short, even with all the advantages he's given himself and the rules I know he is likely getting wrong by the weird looks other nearby Votann players are giving him, because Votann are the flavour of the month at this time in the hobby, he barely wins, 43 points to 43. He sneers at me and says, yeah, better luck next time, I guess. You have to move to another table now, right? It was indeed winner stays on, so I do that, happy to get away from this douche. His next battle goes very much the same way. I win the rest of my games to come in a healthy third place, with 1 loss and 4 wins to my name. The top 2 at the end of the tournament are Dennis with 5 wins from 5 and a lad called Michael with 5 wins from 5. Now, Michael is 13. Yep, 13. 1-3. A top player in the making, I think. He loves the hobby, but is one really, really shy kid. He has glasses, is a bit of a skinny Harry Potter lookalike, I guess. He's overjoyed to get second due to the total of victory points counted up over the tournament. The thing is, he's the only one who is happy about this turn of events. Dennis is looking down his nose at us all. Victory in the bag. I fucking hate it when this happens, dude. Just the worst. Then, the tournament organiser steps up. Like fucking Dumbledore, and says... and says they will now give points for best painted army and best sportsman. At the moment, the scores are 212 points in 5 games to Michael, and 225 points in 5 games for Dennis. We were all asked during the tournament to state who had the best painted army and who was the best sportsman on a small card during our games, which we then handed in to the TO as he walked around the hall. Those had been counted, and because this was a casual tournament between friends, the best sportsman award was worth double points. We all knew this heading into the tournament. Okay, cool. Dennis was announced as the best painted winner. However, I had heard earlier in the tournament that his army was commission painted. How? The guy who painted the models told me whilst I played his NIDs in another round of the tournament, and he was awarded another 20 points, bringing his score to 245. He was beaming. Dude, that's so fucking... That's fucked. That's absolutely fucked. How can you stand there with a straight face and be like, yes, I will take my 20 points for the army that somebody else painted? Oh, Jesus. No, man. Come on. Michael was announced as the best sportsman, to a deafening cheer by the lads in the room. I mean, the fucking roof shook when this was announced, I swear. Giving him 40 points, bringing his score to 252 points. It's literally the last scene in Philosopher's Stone, where he's like, Dumbledore's like, I believe a change of decoration is in order. Oh, man. Sometimes the hobby throws up some absolute belters, man. Michael had won the Leviathan starter box set for his mighty white scars. The look on his face, he got a good taste in armies too. The look on his face was amazing. He was mouth open and smiling, not believing he'd actually won the whole thing. Do you know what? That's one of the best things you're ever going to see. If you've ever seen that on a young lad's face, right? Because when they're like 13 and something really amazing happens, they literally stand there mouth agape and smiling. They can't hold that in. It's one of the best things you're ever going to see. It doesn't matter who it is doing it. Any kid doing that, where they're literally like, this is the best thing to ever happen to me. You know he's going to go home and tell his parents and show them the box set that he's won. You know, it's for free. Like, it saved them money as well. Like, that's going to, like, that kid's in the hobby for life now. And that's what people like Dennis don't seem to get. You know, your gratification is secondary. The hobby is more important than you. It just is. You're a representative of this hobby, no matter where you are and what you do. It's more important that you get these kids in and you get them playing good games like 40k and good tabletop games to get themselves out there, to make sure that they're feeling like they're heard and they're making friends and they're creating really positive skills. Whenever parents say to me, when I work for GW, why should my kid get into this? I'd be like, well, it teaches them social skills, confidence, working in a team, even mental arithmetic, problem solving, right? Reading at a higher level. All of those things are encapsulated in the hobby. It's the best hobby for a young lad to be in. I'm telling you now. It might not be good for your wallet as a parent, but in terms of a hobby, mate, chef's kiss. Mwah, it's the best. It is the best hobby for them to be in. Until they come up to a guy like Dennis, who tries to ruin it for them. And this is why self-policing is a huge thing in every hobby, right? Anyway, moving on. And you know what? For all his ass-hattery, Dennis took it on the chin. He shook his head ruefully at what he perceived was an injustice, walked over to Michael with a fake smile and shook the lad's hand, congratulating him before moving to the back of the store to seethe at his friends for his misfortune. Do you know what? I'm going to doff my cap to that guy then. You're a douchebag. But at least even you couldn't take that away. It's disarming. When you see that amount of joy on a kid's face, it's disarming. You're like, you know what? Fine. You know, you win, mate, my friend. Good win. You know, shake your hand. You know, good for you. Good for you, Dennis. If you are watching this, if you recognise yourself in the story, good for you for doing that. But still, you know, don't be a douche, man. Please. Regardless, that was my best moment of the hobby this year on a cold February Saturday night. Michael did get his Leviathan box set when they came into the store. He swapped the new Dreadnought in the box for 2 sets of Outriders as, he quoted, and I quote, "White scars don't hide in metal boxes. This kid is a legend. Cheers North, Nigel Aldo." Dude, this lad is going places. Like, absolutely. Absolutely. White scars don't hide in metal boxes. What a Chad. Dude, I'm reading this for the second time today and I'm still smiling. This is great. More like this, please. If you have hobby nightmares like this, send them in. I have another 5 hobby nightmares to go in the normal hobby nightmares section. So please, if you have any, send them in. I'd love to read them out on the channel. If they're more relationship heavy ones, or more ones that stray a little bit from the hobby, from games and D&D and stuff like that, I'll read it out on a Friday, alright? Or maybe even on a Saturday, because if we get loads of normal hobby stuff, I'll probably do that on a Friday as well. So, but if we don't, then I'll do the other esoteric ones on a Friday, alright? That's what we're going to do going forwards. Hope you all have a brilliant rest of your day. I love you a long time. Have a wonderful Saturday, and I'll speak to you tomorrow for a live stream. If you remember, a live stream, a charity stream that we're going to be going over for Movember, along with a prize draw on the 6th tomorrow for £50 worth of free games from Composite Games, or a Dark Angels Deathwing box set that'll be drawn tomorrow. Love you a long time. See you then. Have a good one. Bye.